78-year-old man kept waving at the same biker every morning. The day he didn't wave, he turned around. In the quiet, tree-lined streets of a small American town, where the morning mist still clings to the pavement at dawn, a silent ritual unfolded every single day for 2 years. It was a connection forged not in words, but in a simple, consistent gesture: a wave. On one side of the street stood Walter Dawson, a 78-year-old man with silver hair and eyes that held the weight of decades. Every morning at 7:15 a.m., rain or shine, Walter would shuffle out to his mailbox. He didn't check for letters, he checked for a friend. On the other side of the street rode Marcus Alvarez, a rugged biker with a leather vest and a roar that echoed through the neighborhood. As Marcus throttled down slightly to navigate the corner, he would lift his gloved hand. Walter would raise his trembling arm in return. They never spoke. They never exchanged names until much later, yet in that split second of eye contact and raised hands, an entire conversation took place. For Walter, this wave was far more than a greeting to a stranger. It was a lifeline to a past he desperately missed. Decades ago, Walter had a best friend named Danny. They were inseparable, bound by the innocence of youth and the chaos of the Vietnam War. Danny never made it home. Since Danny's death, Walter had carried a heavy silence, a void that no amount of time could fill. When Marcus first started riding that route 2 years prior, something about the biker's steady presence reminded Walter of the loyalty Danny once showed him. The daily wave became Walter's way of honoring Danny's memory, a silent promise that he was still here, still watching, still connected to the world. For Marcus, the old man by the mailbox became the anchor of his morning ride. In a life often filled with noise, speed, and the isolation of the open road, Walter's unwavering presence offered a moment of pure human stability. Marcus began to look forward to that face more than the destination of his ride. It was a reminder that someone cared if he showed up, that his journey mattered to at least one person. Then came the Tuesday that broke the pattern. Marcus revved his engine at the familiar corner, expecting to see the frail figure waiting by the white mailbox. But the spot was empty. The porch was silent. Marcus slowed, scanning the yard, thinking perhaps Walter was just running late or feeling under the weather. He rode on, but a knot of unease tightened in his stomach. It felt wrong. The rhythm of his morning was shattered. The next day, the mailbox remained empty. By the third day, newspapers began to pile up on the porch, curling in the wind like dry leaves. The silence from the house was deafening. Marcus couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The instinct of a protector, dormant beneath his tough exterior, flared up. He knew he had to break his own rule: never stop, never turn back. That fourth morning, Marcus did the unthinkable. He hit his brakes, swung his massive bike around in the middle of the quiet street, and roared back towards Walter's house. He parked hastily on the lawn and pounded on the front door.
"Walter? Walter, are you in there?" No answer, only the ticking of a clock inside. Panic surged through him. Without hesitation, Marcus kicked the door frame near the lock, splintering the wood until the door gave way. Inside, the scene was heartbreaking. Walter lay collapsed on the kitchen floor, having suffered a severe stroke hours, perhaps days earlier. He was barely breathing. Marcus immediately dialed emergency services, his voice shaking as he gave the address. Paramedics arrived within minutes, rushing Walter to the hospital. The doctors later confirmed that if Marcus hadn't turned around when he did, Walter would not have survived the night. The silent wave had spoken louder than any cry for help ever could. Weeks later, Walter returned home, weaker but alive. He thought his story had ended, that he would return to his solitude, but he was wrong. On a crisp Saturday morning, Walter looked out his window and saw a line of motorcycles stretching as far as the eye could see. Dozens of bikers, led by Marcus, lined the road at exactly 7:15 a.m. They weren't just passing by, they had stopped. One by one, they lifted their hands, waving enthusiastically at the old man. It was a sea of leather and chrome, a brotherhood united by gratitude. Marcus walked up to the porch, took Walter's hand, and finally spoke the words they had waited 2 years to say. "We've got you, Walter. You're part of the family now." Tears streamed down Walter's face as he waved back, not just to Marcus, but to dozens of new friends. He realized that while Danny was gone, the spirit of friendship he cherished was very much alive. He would never have to wait alone again. This story reminds us that kindness often speaks in whispers, a nod, a smile, a wave. These small acts build bridges that can literally save lives. In a world that often feels divided, let Walter and Marcus's bond be a beacon of hope. It proves that no act of connection is too small, and it is never too late to find family in the most unexpected places. If this story touched your heart and restored your faith in humanity, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us spread these messages of hope and second chances to millions around the globe. Don't forget to tell us in the comments where you are watching from. We love hearing from our global community. Together, let's keep the wave going. Thanks for watching.